So there you have it, guys. 2-2 draw. I'm just summing up the final thoughts of the evening. Look, you know what it is? You're really angry after results like that. We had the chance to make a real statement, a chance to get into that top three. We would have went into third. And it's frustrating because I'll dissect the game in a minute, but it just goes back to the original thing of as soon as we get that opportunity to close that gap on Chelsea after they drop points, we never, ever seem to be able to take it. There's been a lot of fan cams tonight saying bottle job FC, bottle job mentality. This is what I mean. And I think context is everything, because rightly so, it's right to be disappointed with that because we know what was at stake. But I'm all about the context. And look, we haven't lost the game, but we've got to see that game out. We've got to see that game out. You know, the forwards have done their job. They've scored the goals. And yes, we wasn't in control of the game. Yes, Southampton had the better performance, hands down. They were at us. They stayed in the game for long periods. They pinned us in. They pressed. Their intensity was there. They had a clear game plan, which was working for large periods. And they got 1-0 up from it. And we had a lot of players not at it. That mixed in with a little bit of unfortunate injuries that happened at the wrong times. Both fullbacks injured. That's unfortunate. And not being able to make that fifth sub, or another sub, should I say, was unfortunate. I understand that. But for me, look, it's easy to criticise Ollie. There's some bits where you got to look at Ollie and say, okay, was it the best thing to take off Pogba so early? Was it the best thing to take off Bruno at all? You're looking at the drop-off in quality and substitutions once we do make substitutions. But I am kind of saying today, we were not in control of the game even when those players were on the pitch. When Pogba and Bruno were on the pitch, we weren't in control of the game. However, I accept that by leaving them on, though, they're going to make something happen at some stage. You know, I could see maybe potentially why he was looking to bring Pogba off. He wasn't having his best game, but he was maybe growing into it. But he's played 4 games on the bounce, been out for 6 or 7 months, and probably thought, you know what, I need to bring in Fred for the legs. Maybe should have brought in McTominay instead, but it's easier said than done. I can see that criticism. The Bruno situation, I just think you just leave him on. For me personally, I just think he weren't having his best game, but he's as fit as a fiddle. And if you need that decisive pass, someone to hold on to the ball, I think he gives you that. So I think Solskjaer did get a little bit worried. However, with that, right, I'm saying, but then again, he kind of is within his rights to do that. We're 2-1 at home, right, against a team that, let's be honest, is performing better than us. But our quality has shone through, and I'll get to Martial in a bit. Our quality shone through. It's the 75th minute, it's the 80th minute. We're still in there. De Gea's not had to make a save yet. We're defending okay. Solskjaer is kind of within his rights to say, do you know what? Let's show that we can win ugly. I trust in the players. Let's show a different type of mentality. Or he asked the question of the players, can you show us a different type of mentality? Can you go on and win this game when you haven't been at your best? You haven't been at the races. But I tell you what, Martial and Rashford have provided the goods. We'll hold on to that. We'll take the messy win. I tell you what, we'll be third. That would have been an even better performance in some ways than winning 3-0 comfortable, winning 5-2. Do you know what I mean? Smashing teams 3-0 all over the shop. It's easy when that's happening. But what is it like when the chips are down? And I tell you what, we did show good spirit at times in the game. The fact that we were 1-0 down so early, and rightly so 1-0 down because Southampton had us under the cosh. The fact that we went bang, bang, quick fire again. I don't know about you guys, but I was there sitting at home thinking, this is what I like about us right now. We make consistent chances. And we went on to make more chances. And then that brings me on to Martial. I mean, Martial, look, at the beginning of the game, it was who punished who first, because at the end of the day, he nicked it off Ward-Prowse and didn't punish him. Pogba got it nicked off him and we were punished. And Martial probably should score that. But I tell you what, after that, he was absolutely superb. And he's the reason why we got anything out of that game today. The assist for Rashford was brilliant. He was a different gear. The goal that he scores as well, Martial, was just out of this world. It's typical Martial. And his performance, individual performance, deserved to be on a winning team. But, you know, you've got to give credit to Southampton here. You've got to give credit to Southampton. I was saying to Mark, I said it. If you don't have a game plan against these guys, you allow them to play it and you're not at it, it'll be a very uncomfortable evening. And I did predict 3-1. And technically, when we're 2-1 up, we had chances to get to 3-1. But this is why I was sceptical about this game, because Southampton are a good side. They're honest, they're hardworking, they're organised, and they play with intensity. And we had no idea what to do in that first sort of 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and they got the goal. But I liked our reaction after that. But I think today was a culmination of some potential bad decisions in substitutions, unfortunate in terms of the injuries, and players not standing up to it. I have to say that. I think there was too many players who weren't playing well enough. I think Martial was obviously superb. Had leaps and shoulders, leaps and bounds ahead everyone. Rashford, I thought, had a good game today. I thought he was positive. I thought Luke Shaw had a very good game before he got injured. Greenwood didn't have a very good game. You know, it is a criticism because it's what happened, but it's no grief. He's a young 18-year-old kid. He's not going to have superb games all the time, which is the exact reason why we do need a Sancho, why we need reinforcements. Greenwood can't do it every game. He's a youngster coming into it, and he's been absolutely out of this world up until tonight. And it was a different game for him. It was a different thing that he had to do. You're playing against Bertrand, a left-back who will fly forward at every opposition, who can defend really well, who's very quick. And Greenwood, by all means, he didn't have a shocking game. He just couldn't get himself into the game in an attacking force. Didn't have a shot all game, and it hasn't been too often we've been saying that about Mason Greenwood. Very few touches on the ball, doing a lot of defending, getting pushed back by Bertrand. So that's another player who wasn't at it. Pogba, really poor for large parts. Played in moments, and that's what Pogba's going to give you. That's why he kind of has to stay on for as long as possible, because yes, he was poor, got nicked off him for the first goal, all his fault, I understand that, and then a couple of other times got it nicked off him. He really went at the races, but I tell you what, he was involved in the first goal that we scored, fizzing it into Martial. You could say it was a speculative cross, but no, he means to find Martial, Martial has a hell of a lot to do, but the ball is there from Pogba. Bruno, not at it today by his standards. You're always going to get the honesty out of him, you're always going to get the work rate out of him, but he wasn't at it. Do you know what I mean? Matic, I thought, did okay. Wan-Bissaka. I think it was the last game actually against Villa. We actually said it was one of his worst games for a while. This one topped that. He was even worse today. Not so great on the ball, giving it away, getting beat to the tackle, picked up a silly yellow card. Although he was involved in the second goal, I think, winning it back. Sorry, or was it involved in the first one? Involved in the first one, giving it to Pogba. Because was it Bruno got the assist as well, didn't he, for Martial's? So when he looked like he lost the ball, though, because I remember screening at the TV saying, "Oh, he's lost it. Wan-Bissaka's lost it." But to be fair, he sorted his feet out. But he didn't have a good game. Harry Maguire. Look, at the end of the day, when it gets to near the end of that game, right, and you can talk about the misfortune of having two players injured and we're down to 10 men, etc. But I'm sorry, I don't blame Solskjaer for us being 2 minutes, 1 minute, one corner away from a massive 3 points. And the corner comes in, Harry Maguire doesn't attack it, 85 million, captain leader, best header of the ball, doesn't go for it. And then Lindelof being on the wrong side of the guy that scored. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't let that. How's that Solskjaer's fault? You know what I mean? I have sympathy there with Solskjaer. A lot of people will be on Solskjaer's neck, and well, maybe not a lot, but some people will. I know obviously Saeed obviously was, and there'll be a whole load of people as well. I haven't even been on social media, but they will criticize some of his tactics and stuff like that about, you know, as soon as we played against the press, you know, we didn't have any ideas against a team that was well drilled, and, you know, but that doesn't take away the progress that we have made in that time. However, you've got to look at the mentality of the side, you know, old school Man United. And I don't want to keep living in the past. Your Rios, your Vidic's, you know, your big Bruces, they're coming through, they're cleaning out everyone, Yap Stams, they're cleaning out everyone, and they're making that head of theirs, and we get the 3 points. That's when you earn your corn. That's when 85 million Harry Maguire earns his corn as captain. Go and attack that ball in the last minute of the game. He's done it plenty of times this season in other games. I remember Everton, he was Colossus away when we got the draw. He was header after header, getting after it, but he didn't go for it. I expected him to. And Lindelof, I actually thought Lindelof was having a really good game. He was going to get a decent rating from me. He was having a really good game, and then he did that, which would have brought it down. So I think Solskjaer will be questioning those players in terms of their mentality, you know, to say, you've got to see that out, you know. Yes, we had chances to make it 3 and 4. I get that on a different day we score, but them players have to see that out. You've got 10 men, gone into a back five, with 3 centre-halves, Matic filling in, left centre-half, Fred left wing-back. And you just got a club together. And it wasn't even in open play where we just kept getting dominated. It wasn't really in it. I get it. Wasn't playing free-flowing football. But De Gea, I literally tweeted, De Gea hasn't had to make a save. We just need to stay switched on and ride this out. Then Redmond gets a shot and De Gea pulls out a very good save. So, look, it's very, very disappointing. That point could be massive in the end. And I think because it is 2 points dropped, it's hard to remember that we haven't lost the game. It's hard to remember that. But we've got to take the positives that have been. But, you know, you do worry. You do look at that now and think, I tell you what, Crystal Palace, all of a sudden now, that Crystal Palace game just feels a little bit more uncomfortable. It feels a little bit more uncomfortable. Crystal Palace has been on a really bad run. You know what it's like when Manchester United come to town. They can potentially raise it. So massively disappointing, to be honest. Massively disappointing. Am I confident we'll still get top 4? I am. I look at the other games that are to come and you can see the twists and turns in these games. No one would have thought Leicester would have got turned over. No one would have thought that Chelsea were going to get a hiding of Sheffield United the other day. Look, we will be 4 points off Chelsea by the time we next play, I think, because they're going to beat Norwich, let's face it. So the pressure is on. The pressure is now back on again. But having said that, it's still, excuse me, it's still in our hands. And I think that's what we've got to remember here, Reds. This was a little bit of a wake-up call. You know, we know what it's like when we make substitutions, it drops off. But also about the mentality that we've got in the squad. Still need a centre-half. Still need another right winger. Still need better quality to come off the bench. So it's just that little reminder that, to be fair, I don't know about you, but I didn't forget that. We've been saying it even when we've been playing well. But the boys got to bounce back. I think the bigger concern as well is hopefully we're not going to be without both fullbacks in Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. I mean, Luke Shaw I thought was playing brilliantly. I think he had a great game. And when he came off, the game did change. And that didn't look like something you run off in a couple of days for sure. I can't see him being at Palace, and it looks like he can recover within a week. But sometimes that looked like a 2-weeker to me. And Brandon Williams, that I hope it's more so the cut and the blood as opposed to actually concussion and the banging of the head that shook him up. Obviously, he had to come off as a precaution, but hopefully he can get that sorted out, because otherwise we're going to be weakened at left back, and Dalot hasn't had much game time. I don't think he's played since Tranmere, has he? I can't remember. Or did he play against Derby? No, Luke Shaw played left back then. So, yeah, I can't remember. He might have played right back in that game. But anyway, he hasn't had a lot of game time this year, or definitely since the restart, hasn't played once. And he might have to come in at Palace away. So, big question marks there. And we've just got to get back at it. We've got to get back at it, and we can't rest too much on this. This now is going to be a huge test of this team's character and resolve. But at the same time, Reds, I don't want you to get too disheartened, because there are still positives and we are still in control of our own destiny. Forget the City thing, the 5th place thing and all that crap. We're still in control of where we finish. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the aspirations to finish in the top 4. And you look at the run-in, it's still in our favour. You look at Leicester, they've got to play Sheffield United, Tottenham and then us. I don't want to say almost certain, but I'm anticipating them dropping at least a couple of points. At least a couple of points. I think at least a draw out one. I don't see them winning all 3. And if it's a cup final in the last game against Leicester at the King Power Stadium on the last game of the season, then so be it. The writing will be on the wall. And look, we've come this far. We've got to see it out. Nervy time. Disappointing today. My man of the match has to go to Martial. I thought it was superb. And roll on Thursday, man. There's only a couple of days off and then we get straight back at it. Check out my YouTube channel, The Flex. I've got some stuff coming up there. Some interesting vlog coming out, so make sure you subscribe to that. Make sure you subscribe to the United Stand across all the social media platforms, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.